YouTube. And by the looks of it, here in the technical background of our virtual studio, it seems like we are all good with the live stream as well. Awesome. Well, welcome again to the Master Your Exit live show powered by the Big Exit. My name is Lynn. I'll be your host for today. And as every week, this Master Your Exit live show, we bring practical insights, expert interviews, and tools to help small business owners like yourself to prepare for your big exit. This live show airs every Tuesday at 7 a.m. in Los Angeles, 10 a.m. in New York, and 3 p.m. in London time. We keep each show short and simple, 30 minutes maximum. Now, if you're tuning in on our YouTube channel or on our LinkedIn channel, welcome. So awesome to have you here. If you've joined us live here in the virtual Zoom studio, that's pretty cool as well. That basically means that you can ask any question you like about exiting, preparing your business for a sale, or anything else that's on top of your mind in the chat function of our virtual studio. So it's worthwhile to join us live in the studio because then we can get your answers or your questions answered. Now, if you are watching this show later, not live, you can find all of the shows, by the way, on our website, thebigexit.co/master your exit shows with a little dash in between, or listen to the audio version on your favorite podcast platform. Now, in today's show, specifically, we are answering a question that we basically get every single day here at the Big Exit. What is my business worth and why is it worth what it is? It's probably the question we get asked the most. So, together with our business valuation partners at BizVal, we have developed an independent software tool that you can use all by yourself at any time that you like to figure out how much your business is worth. And it's all for free as well. Isn't that really amazing? And even like if you go to the, not even, if you go and use the tool, it's basically within less than 15 minutes that you will be receiving a valuation range for your business, as well as some expert advice on how you can increase that value. Isn't that cool? Now, what's even more cooler is I'm just going to show it to you in a live demo right now, how you can use the tool, where you can find the tool, how you will get the results after you have completed the assessment in the business valuation tool, and why we're basically offering this for free, whilst a lot of other players in the merger and acquisitions market will charge sometimes very hefty fees to do business valuations. So maybe let me get started with that first topic, which is why are you offering this for free? Now, before answering that question, let me just also do a screen share immediately of our website. Let me just go and see, because then I can show you where you can find the hold on, where you can find the tool and how you can complete the tool right now whilst you're looking at it. Even you can come and join us live on the website and take your business valuation assessment straight away during this live show even, and you will get your results even before we wrap up this Master Your Exit live show this week. So let me do a screen share for you. Hold on. There we go. And if all goes well, you should be able to see my screen and see our website page, basically. So if you go to thebigexit.co, and you go to free resources, you can click. We have 2 free resources, by the way. We have an exit readiness quiz, which is out of the scope of this show today. But that quiz gives you a exit readiness score, which is a score from 0 to 100, giving you an indication of the sellability of your business. Not how much it's worth, but just can it be sold? How easily can it be sold? So that's our exit readiness quiz, which is out of the scope for this Master Your Exit live show, but feel free to go and check it out as well and get your exit readiness score. But for today, let's move into the independent business valuation tool. And let me close a couple of tabs here before they all start making noise and start singing. So here we go. So if you go to our business valuation tool, it will ask you a couple of questions. But first of all, let me get back to that first question. Why are you offering this for free? Now, bear in mind, we also have a business valuation tool that we use within our 7-figure exit program, which is a paid program specifically designed for small business owners who are looking to sell in the next couple of years. And they basically want to figure out, how much is my business worth? How sellable is it? What drives value? What doesn't drive value? What changes, strategic changes, do I need to make first in order to increase the sellability and value of my business, and run through that program to make their business exit ready? So we are offering business evaluations within our 7-figure exit program, and then it is not for free. And that business evaluation is very detailed. There's a bunch of questions that we ask, and you do get to sit down virtually with one of our business evaluation experts who will go through your personalized, detailed report of the business valuation methods that are being used, the different ones for your business, and the different results coming out of those business valuation methods. As you can already hear, that's a lot of details that you get from a report like that. With this free tool, we don't give you that level of depth on your business valuation, but we do give you a pretty solid, narrow range of what your business is worth and why it is worth as much or as little as it is. So if you want to figure that out, you can go to our business evaluation tool. And just to answer that question again, why are you offering this for free? Well, the main reason for that is, and it's actually highlighted on the page as well. So I'm not sure if it's for you, but 69% of small business owners isn't exactly sure what their business is worth. Almost all of them overestimate the value of their business. They base that value on some random rule of thumb that they have mostly invented themselves, or maybe they compare it to a similar business and what that business has sold for, or they use a gut feeling that is based on how hard they have worked for all those years and what they believe the business should be worth. Sometimes they base it on, what their golf buddy has told them of what they think their business is worth, or for how much they have sold their business. Sometimes they base the value of their business as an owner on, I've worked so hard. This is how much money I need to fund my next project, to fund my retirement, to fund, the next chapter of my life. Therefore, I want to sell it for this amount of money. So basically, most small business owners have their own way of thinking how much their business is worth. But just so you know, most of them are not really sure how much their business is worth, and almost all of them, unfortunately, overestimate the value of their business. Now, that's a tough nut to crack when you're very close to when you are actually wanting to sell your business. So let's say you're thinking of selling your business somewhere during next year. You have no idea what your business is worth. You decide to only have a proper business valuation done once you go and speak to maybe a business broker that will help you put your business on the market. That business broker gives you a business valuation. You don't really know what tools they are using or the methods that they are using or what they're really using in terms of finding or deciding how much your business is worth. Bear in mind, some business brokers might overestimate the value of your business just to get your listing and to get your business mandate to sell your business. Not all business brokers are independent in their business valuations. So make sure if you work with a business broker, we are not business brokers at the Big Exits, we're independent. But if you're working with a business broker, just make sure that they are independently valuing your business and they don't give a high estimate just to get your listing. At least speak to a couple of business brokers to make a valuation for you if you can afford to do that, rather than just going with one valuation by a business broker. But if you want to have an independent business valuation, you can use this free tool here, or you can sign up to the 7-Figure Exit program where we do a more in-depth business valuation, and it's independent, meaning we are not business brokers at the Big Exit. We have no benefit in valuing your business high to get your listing or low because maybe we want to buy your business. That also happens. We don't have any benefit with doing either ways. So we're looking at it from an independent perspective, but the main reason why we're offering it here for free as a free tool, a business evaluation tool that you can use for free, is because we want you already today to figure out how much your business is worth, even if you're not planning on selling, even if you're not planning on selling in the next year, even if you're planning on selling, but you feel like it's still quite a very long horizon. At least do a quick and brief business valuation with our tool because it will give you an idea on what's it worth today and how far removed or close by that is with the number that you want to sell your business for. For most business owners, that gap between what comes out of this tool as valuation of what your business is worth versus what you actually want to sell your business for, that gap is rather wide or wider than one might hope. But at least then you know, because then you know what you need to do or the things that you start doing or implementing in order to increase that value now that you still have the time to do it, rather than when you speak to a broker, you're ready to sell, you're eager to sell. That's not the right time to figure out the gap between what your business is worth and how far removed that is from what you were willing to sell it for, because closing that gap will take time. It could take a couple of months' time. It could take 2 or 3 years' time. And the question is, when is the right time to figure out how to close that gap? The right time is right now when you still have the energy and the drive to make the necessary strategic changes that are required to close that gap. By the time you want to sell, you often do not have a lot of energy left anymore to make a lot of strategic decisions. You might also not have the time anymore to make these strategic decisions, potentially leaving a lot of money on the table because you simply haven't prepared your business and yourself for an exit. So that's the main reason why we are offering this tool for free. The main reason being, please figure out how much your business is worth so you understand the gap between current value and what you want to sell for, and at least prepare your business and take the time to prepare your business. This thing, that gap that I have been mentioning, is what we call the value gap. And one thing is clear, like finding out your business is worth less than you think, that's a very rough wake-up call. Just a few more stats. 9 out of 10 private businesses fail to sell 75% of the deals fall through after an initial offer has been accepted. So that could be during the due diligence phase or anywhere in between an initial offer and the actual closing of the deal and the wiring of the funds. And 92% of owners have businesses that are simply not exit ready. They might be of value, but they cannot be sold. It's two different things. I'm not going to dive too much in those details, but basically your business needs to be valuable and your business needs to be sellable in order for you to have that big exit that you are dreaming of. So knowing your business's value right now is crucial. So this free tool will give you an indicative business valuation range, and it will do it immediately. And the software that we're using for that calculation, first of all, it's the world's only independent business valuation calculator. It's based on more than 4,500 business exits worth more than $30 billion in total value on 6 different continents. So if you're wondering, is the value dependent on the location where my business is based? Yes, it is. And we will take that into consideration even in this free tool. If you're wondering if the valuation is dependent on the industry that you are in, yes, it is. And we're taking that into consideration when we are doing even this free business valuation tool. Now, bear in mind the data that you share with us below in that tool is treated confidentially and it is treated with care. Now, also bear in mind that the valuation range that will come out once you have completed the questions in the tool, the quality of that valuation range depends on the quality of the information that you put in, right? We cannot guarantee or check if what you're putting inside the tool is correct or not. That is your responsibility. But based on that information, we will give you a business valuation range that we are very comfortable with sharing with you. So discover what your business is worth today so you can plan for your future. It's independent, it's easy, it's free, and it's fast. So I'll just quickly walk you through it. There's only about 10 questions in this business valuation tool, but the range that comes out of the completion of this is a pretty solid and neat range that will already give you a great indication of where you are at with your business. We ask for your name and we ask for your email address. And the main reason for that is because your email address will be used to send you your business valuation range. It's not going to be shown after you've completed the form for, privacy reasons. So we're going to email you your business valuation range. So also make sure if you don't get that range and that email within, I would say 5 minutes after completing the form, have a look in your spam. It might have ended up there because we're sending it through almost immediately. So if you haven't received it within like just a couple of minutes, check your spam folder. It's probably going to be there. Feel free to reach out to me at lynn@thebigexit.co as well if you haven't received that information. So a couple of questions that we are using to create that business valuation tool. How old is your business is the first one. Older businesses in general get valued a little bit higher than younger businesses because they simply have a track record. That's the main reason why we ask this question. I'm just going to add in some random numbers here just for the sake of going through the tool together with you. So what sector do you operate in? As I already mentioned, different industries have different rules around business valuation. So it really depends on the industry that you're in. That will decide partially how much your business is worth. SaaS software businesses are valued higher in comparison to service-based businesses, for example, or retail businesses, for example. So the industry that you work in is important for your valuation. So let me just pick, by the way, we work with a lot of mostly service-based businesses, online businesses, coaching businesses, Those are like the key businesses that we work with. But as you can see here, for this free tool, we have a lot of data points with our partner BizVal that covers also, like healthcare or manufacturing businesses or even mining businesses, for example. Our clients at the Big Exit mostly are in services, financial services, professional services, media businesses, online businesses, coaching businesses, education businesses, training businesses, coaching businesses, consulting businesses, all these kinds of things. So, like service industry, non-IT, for example. Then what's your primary region of operations? As I've already mentioned before, your region will partially decide how much your business is worth. It's not something that you could change, but it does influence business valuation. So here you have a couple of options. Let's just say you're based in North America, for example, where most of our clients are based. Complete your currency. You will be asked a little bit more information around your revenue and stuff like that. So here's where you decide on your currency. And this will also be the currency used in the results that you're getting from us. So just make sure to use a currency that makes sense to you, where you in general operate with. Then we also ask you what your annual profit is after tax. So I'm just going to add in a number, which is something that is very common for a lot of our clients. For example, let's say it's $500,000 annual profit. So we're not talking about revenue, people. We're talking about profit after tax. So you might have to take like your most recent annual report, for example, unless you know this from the top of your head, or you can enter in more or less a ballpark number. But as I've mentioned it before, the more accurate this data is that you put into the form, the more accurate the business valuation range is going to be. We mostly work with businesses who make, in terms of revenue, less than 2 million US dollars in annual revenue. Profit can really depend on the industry, as I've already mentioned before. So just for the sake of this exercise, I'm putting in 500,000 annual profits after tax. Now, we also ask you a little bit about the growth rate that you are expecting in the next 3 years. Maybe you're expecting not to grow at all or just a little bit up and down. The reason for that is because if you can show a track record of growth, even if it's just a small growth track record in the past, or you're expecting to keep on growing, even if it's just a little bit in the future, that will decide, or that will be an influencer on the eventual business valuation. I don't need to explain to you that businesses that show growth, even if it's just a few percent a year, are valued higher, everything else remaining the same, than businesses that have showed like a decrease or even just a stable, growth trajectory over the last, couple of years. So let's assume you're expecting growth anywhere between like 0 or 5%, for example. And then if you take a 3-week holiday, what happens? This shit hit the fan, basically. Or, can your team just basically run without you and everything runs smooth, or anything in between? Please answer this as honestly as possible. How independent your business is from you will directly impact the value of your business. And for most people, it's probably like, I can go away for a couple of weeks, but I do need to be available for my team. And for other people, and it's kind of like 50-50 for our clients, is I can barely manage a 3-day holiday, let alone 3 weeks. We work a lot with US-based clients, and a lot of them will say, like, I can barely manage 3 days of holiday. So let me just pick this one. And then we also ask you, just for the record, to see where you're at in your business exiting process. We also ask you why you are doing this valuation. So maybe you're just curious. A lot of our clients or people who take this tool do this out of curiosity, and a lot of them it's because they want to have a potential sale. They're thinking of selling their business. If you don't feel comfortable sharing that with us, you can also not say it or put something else in, but let's just assume you're thinking of potentially selling your business. And then you click submit, and you basically will get to see this screen. Thank you. The details for your independent business valuation have been submitted successfully, and your valuation will be sent via email shortly. And as I've mentioned this before, please do check your spam or your junk folder if you don't receive it in the next 5 minutes, because it should arrive within the next 5 minutes, basically. And that will give you the results of your, of all the information that you have completed here. For some people, those results are amazing, positive. For other people, and this is for the majority of people, it's less than what they would hope for or what they would want. Um, and that's okay too. Just bear in mind, like, this is, at least it gives you an indication of where you are at. I don't know if you have ever read or watched Alice in Wonderland, but there's this famous quote there, and I might be saying it wrong, but Alice is asking to the rabbit, which direction should I take? And the rabbit asks, well, where do you want to go? And she's like, I'm not really sure. And then the rabbit is saying, then it doesn't really matter which direction you're going. So also with this business valuation tool, it's all about figuring out where you are today so you can figure out the direction in which you need to go. And bear in mind, besides this business valuation range that you will receive via email, you will also receive a couple of expert tips and guidance on how you can improve your business valuation. And if you're ready to take the next step, we do have a 90 minutes workshop pre-recorded for you for a small amount of money that you can immediately get access to, where we basically cover more details on business valuations and how they happen, on sellability and what makes a business sellable and not so sellable. We share a couple of industry insights on valuations that we see amongst our client range of the hundreds of valuations that we have been doing. So it's a very valuable workshop to basically go through and take the next step on your journey to preparing your business for an exit. And that leaves us with just 2 minutes left for this show. So let me just stop my screen share. That's not the right button. There we go. So just to basically wrap up, so this is the wrap up of this week's episode on the Master Your Exit live show. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're leaving with some valuable insights to help you prepare for your big exit. Remember, you can catch the replay of this episode and all other episodes on our website at thebigexit.co/master your exit shows, or listen to the audio version on your favorite podcast platform. Now, I also love to hear from you. If you want to send in your exit questions before next week's show, go to our website as well. Go to the Master Your Exit shows sign up, where you can leave your name and your email address, but more importantly, you can leave all your exit questions, and we will be handling them in next week's Master Your Exit show. So that's it for now. We'll be back next Tuesday at 7 a.m. in Los Angeles, 10 a.m. in New York, and 3 p.m. in London with more tips, expert interviews, and tools to help you master your exit. Until then, keep building, preparing, and we'll see you next week. Thank you so much.